Good evening. Pursuant to Chapter 2 of the Acts of 2023, as amended on March 28, 2025, this meeting will be conducted in person and as a courtesy via remote means in accordance with applicable law. Please note that while an option for remote attendance and/or participation is being provided, the meeting hearing will not be suspended or terminated if there are tech problems unless required by law. Viewers can visit the local scene.media/Duxbury, formerly pac-tv, to watch a video replay of this meeting on Duxbury YouTube. Welcome, welcome. Okay, so we've got one set of minutes. Why don't we do those? Because other than that, I'll remember we should have done it halfway to the car tonight.
I think there's someplace.
What is it, 10:16?
How about that? I
That is-
moved the minutes
we are
of
cooking with gas. That's-
10:16:25 as written. Well,
I'm sorry, say again?
I said I moved the minutes of 10:16:25 as written.
There you go.
Second.
All right, perfect. All those in favor, we've got nobody remote, all those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed, abstained, one abstain, so 4-0-1. Great, thank you for doing that. We have, this evening, we've got our budget discussion with the police department and the fire department. And since we put the police first on the list, Michael, you've got the floor.
Okay. Let me get set up here.
Here, Mike.
Yeah. I want to hand these out. I don't know, there's 5 there, I have more here.
That'll do it for us.
Okay. I have already.
Thank you.
Yeah, it's changed, Chuck. So, yeah, you want the new one.
And this is the updated one, Mike?
Yes. Come on. Okay, turn on.
Brenda, do you have any extras of these? These folks.
So I put together a relatively short PowerPoint. Kind of goes over our wages and expenses. There isn't a whole lot of.
Just gonna share the screen, okay?
Sure,
It's
sure,
not
I'm
shared.
sorry, go right
No,
ahead.
no, please.
Go right ahead.
Just wanna make sure the public gets it when they.
There's not a whole lot of changes. In my budget from last year, other than. Known cost increases, both in wages and salaries and in expenses. And I'll go through all that.
Which one is yours?
Both of them. Actually, this is my, that was my little thing here.
Oh, okay.
So do you know what? I have an adapter. Would that help?
I can probably just put this in one of the back ones.
Oh, okay.
Let
Yeah.
me see if I can find one here.
Oh, there's one back there. That's great.
Sorry
Here we
about
go.
that. I'm sorry.
No, you don't have to apologize.
Does 6, 7,
Oh, my goodness.
I keep asking.
Did I screw something up?
No, it's just, it's,
Doesn't mean anything, I understand that, that's why they think it's so funny.
see if I can. Hmm. I don't know how to share the screen.
Oh, so it doesn't share?
Can we do it from one of the computers instead?
We can, if you want me to plug it in, I can just advance it.
No, I probably, if you have 2 USBs, I can advance it from here.
Try, okay,
Let's try that.
sorry.
So let's try that.
When did you get so tech savvy?
You can leave that in there.
Yeah, but how am I gonna advance it? This is.
This is isn't this the advancer?
No. I don't even know what that, oh, yeah, that's the
That
advance,
is-
I'm
yeah,
sorry, yes.
okay. So
But
you want this plugged into my?
Yes,
laptop?
along with this, both of them.
You could just say next slide.
Yeah, I could, but hey,
You're very nice.
Yeah.
We are suitably impressed. We are suitably impressed. It's very good. Got a clicker. You guys got a.
I got a clicker and it's got a lot of buttons on it, so.
Control is something that we discuss in the Sullivan household quite often, yeah.
Sorry, I've only got one.
Uh-oh. You don't have
Only got one USB.
you only have one? What about the mini USB? Yeah, if you flip it around, yeah, one of those. I got one out there. Yeah.
Jesus, Mary.
Technology.
Is this? I have one of those, but she found another port.
Oh, good, all right, perfect.
Thanks, Rob. Yep, no problem.
It's fine. It's all good.
I'm sorry about this.
Oh, my God, on the scheme of things, Linda, we are all good. No
It's the sharing thing. I mean, I brought my laptop as well, but it won't share still.
This is promising.
Ah,
Look at that.
okay, so
I don't want to hear any. That's fine, it's all good, it's all good.
Are you good for this? You can do the.
yeah, but this isn't working. Why is that?
Because you're too far away from the source, probably.
So,
There you go. Just click on something.
yes, so,
Might just be a little lag.
okay,
Sorry about that.
so good evening, everyone. I'm Chief Mike Carbone, the police department. And I have a short PowerPoint presentation, nothing special, but it's the basics. And again, like I just said earlier, a lot of my numbers from last year have increased slightly, not dramatically, and it's because of contractual and so on and so forth and known increases, and I'll go through a lot of that. But I'd like to start by going by what our current force strength is. We have 37 full-time personnel, 35 sworn and 2 civilians. Full-time sworn personnel is 35. That's from the chief all the way down to the patrolman. There's 35 sworn. We have 2 full-time support staff. And we have special police officers. They're all retired full-time officers, and there's only 4 of them. And they don't cover shifts. They basically do details. And they help us with events like 4th of July and stuff. And the department consists of 3 divisions for day-to-day operations. The administration, which is the chief, the deputy chief, professional standards, and the executive assistant, which is Allison. The operations, we have an operations lieutenant, we have 5 patrol sergeants, and we have 20 full-time officers. Investigations, we have an investigations lieutenant, we have a detective sergeant / prosecutor. We have 2 detectives, we have 2 school resource officers, and a civilian prosecution administrative assistant / records, actually. She does a lot of the records requests. Again, if there's any questions, please stop me and.
Chief, I just had a clarification. So the individual that does the detective sergeant / prosecutor, do they spend a lot of time in court?
Yes. Yes. So the way it works with court is we don't have a full-time prosecutor now. The detectives division handles prosecution. So the detective sergeant is technically the prosecutor. If he is not there, then a detective will fill in. So the detectives division handles all court matters. Discovery, which is huge. Discovery, all that stuff is through investigations.
Thank you.
And how's it going down there? I mean, I know that
It's changed a
previous
lot.
years when, if you showed up at 8 o'clock in the morning, you might be sitting there until 2 in the afternoon before you get called.
It's true.
Still the whole day.
It's still the same because it's still as busy. They try to move things along. They try to do more court hearings now than before. They try to I shouldn't say get rid of, they try to resolve matters.
Court magistrate.
Yes, in a hearing before it gets into the courtroom. On minor stuff, minor stuff, the traffic offenses and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Mediation.
Yeah, mediation.
Hey, Mark, how you doing?
So this is kind of a snapshot of our department documented activities in FY 25. We logged over 28,000 calls in, FY 25. As you can see, you know, there's a lot of, oops, sorry about that. I got fat fingers here. As you can see, we had almost 4,000 traffic stops, motor vehicle crashes. And one thing I want to point out, because a lot of people say, well, half of that is building and property checks. Yes, it is. But I will tell you this. The officers are mandated to do those building checks and area checks. And if they didn't, I will tell you this, if they didn't, these numbers would be a lot higher. All these numbers, because they find things, they prevent things from happening by doing those building checks. It is crime prevention right there. Those are important numbers. I know it's over 14,000, but that's an important number right there.
Why don't you explain what a property or building check
So,
is?
okay, so building and property checks is not just driving by and saying, yep, that Dunkin'
Building's still
Donuts
there?
is good. It's driving around the building, taking the spotlight and you know, checking the doors, or in some cases, the officers will get out with their flashlight and they'll look around, you know, to see if there's anybody around or anything, you know, out of place or disturbed. And that's something that they do routinely, especially on the evenings and the morning shifts, the 4 to 12 and the midnight to 8 shift. Those are the two most important shifts that are done. And again, those are also beach checks. Now, especially during the winter, you wouldn't think, well, you know, the beach is, there's nothing going on down there. Well, they're mandated to do X amount of area checks down the beach. And they find things. They find a car parked down there that, you know, someone may need help or need assistance in some way or is doing something illegal. And that happens.
Walking trails, man, that's.
Yep, walking trails, yep. There's a lot of different areas in this town that need to be checked. You know, off the different areas, I mean,
Town properties.
MODOC, what?
Town properties.
Town properties, it goes on and on and on,
Yep.
but those are very
Thank
important
you.
numbers. And again, I'll reiterate the fact that if they didn't do those, a lot of these other numbers would probably double.
Yeah.
Without a doubt, I know it. I've been in the business a long time, I can tell you that. So our calls increased from last year, about 1,600. To be honest with you, I thought they were gonna increase a lot more than that, but they didn't. I mean, that's quite a bit, 1,600. But I anticipated a larger number, but I guess that's good. So I want to give you our response protocol, and I want to give you a simple example of a motor vehicle crash. And what I'm trying to display here is, you know, we've been working with a full shift of 3 patrol officers, 1 sergeant, and 1 station officer for the longest time. And in this time of policing, and in this time of in Duxbury here, where the call volume is increased dramatically, and the calls for service of, you know, they're more labor intense. Officers have to spend more time at calls, and you've heard all this. I've gone through this over and over again. But what I want to show here is the fact that, example, a motor vehicle crash comes in, right? Motor vehicle crashes with a lot of other calls like domestics and disturbances and alarm calls require 2 officers to respond. So 2 officers respond to a motor vehicle crash. They get there. 1 officer is booking the crash, taking the report. The other officer's directing traffic. Now, let's just say the road has to be closed. There's fire trucks there, there's ambulances there. The road has to be closed because it has to go, you know, be an investigation, or there's an arrest. Need a 3rd car, because this car is now gonna assist with the arrest, right? The 2 officers. The other car is still directing traffic. The sergeant now, he's on his way because he or she's on his way because with a lot of calls, sergeants are mandated to go to a lot of different level calls. We have policy on that they have to respond to calls to oversee the call itself. So the sergeant's on his way there. Now, let's just say the sergeant goes there. Now this officer's going back to the station. He has one in custody. So now the sergeant has to go, he goes to the scene, but then he quickly has to go back to the station because now you need two officers there to assist with the booking. Now they're tied up. So now you have all the cruisers tied up because of a motor vehicle crash. So next question is, what if another call comes in? What if another call comes in? Well, we can do a couple things. We can call for mutual aid, which we do. We can call in officers, but that's overtime, and that's also, you're gonna call someone in by the time they get ready and come in. Or we try our best to free up an officer if another call comes in. They may have to, somehow close the road, use the fire department to help us close the road, and the officer can handle a call. This doesn't happen all the time, but it happens often. And it happens often, not just with motor vehicle crashes, with domestics, with disturbances, with other forms of crime. As you know, you can have a simple suspicious person and it turns into a person's fighting you, or they gotta go to the hospital, and before you know it, that's another thing. You book somebody and they go to the hospital, the officer is going with them, they're babysitting them for however long it takes. And sometimes it could be the whole weekend, it could be days. And we have an officer, it could be in Boston, it could be down Plymouth, it could be in Weymouth, doesn't matter. We own it. So what do? Mutual aid, yeah, we can do that. That is if other towns are available. Call in officers, like I said, that takes time and overtime. But do we run light? Understaffed? Be honest with you, I have to say, it's not acceptable. In this day and age, running 3 patrol officers, 1 sergeant, 1 station officer, that's minimum staffing. I can't go down to 2 officers on the road with 1 sergeant. Someone's gonna get hurt. You can't handle calls like the volumes that we have. You can't handle it. It's just not doable. So that's that. Now, so we start moving forward and we say, okay, what does the department need? And yep, it's the same old thing you've heard me say, patrol officers, patrol officers, patrol officers, because that's where it starts. That's everything to a police department. I don't care, some departments will think their command staff has to be just structured just right. It does, no. It starts with patrol. If you don't have a patrol staff that is fully equipped, fully trained, fully staffed, you're gonna have a dysfunctional police department. Have to continue to fill out vacancies as they arise and request funding for future new patrol officers. Taser replacement. I'm gonna get into a lot of this later on. I'm gonna talk about the tasers and a few other things later on. But our taser replacement. Tasers have a 5-year useful life, meaning that our current tasers are no longer have the warranty and are no longer serviceable. I'll get into more of that later. Body cameras. Program speaks for itself. As most departments have already implemented the body cam program, the time has come for the Duxbury Police Department to do the same. It really is this time that we start thinking about this. Cruiser replacement. This is something I've thought about, and we're starting to manage it a lot tighter now because it's expensive. Cruisers and equipment now is crazy money. So in past years, the standard request has been 3 patrol cruisers. As we consistently manage our fleet, we'll determine on a year-to-year basis how many cruisers we need in replacement. This year, the capital request will be for 2. And next year might be 3, might be 1. I don't know, but it's gonna be done every year. We're gonna basically look at our fleet. Look what cruisers need to be replaced, what don't, what have been having problems, what haven't, what cruisers have not had problems, and so on and so forth, and go from there.
But you do stagger them, right, Chief? I mean.
We do.
Yeah.
So our cruiser maintenance, not only we maintain our cars and we keep track of everything, but certain officers are assigned to certain cruisers, and we track the mileage on them. And we make sure that the mileage as best as we can stays balanced throughout the fleet. That way, we don't have a car that's got 90,000 miles over here and a car that's got 40,000 over here. And, you know, the 40,000 mile one is older than the 90,000. So we constantly do that to make sure our fleet is balanced. It's a lot of work, actually. So,
But you told me before on that, assigning a cruiser to certain officers gives them the responsibility.
Sure does.
And it makes it a lot cleaner.
Yep.
to take care of that.
absolutely.
It's their office.
They
Yeah.
take pride in it. It's their office. That's a good point. They take pride in it. So when something's wrong with it, they want it fixed. Because they're not gonna just jump into another car that's working.
And they're accountable for it.
And they're accountable for it, yes, and, you know, so it's good. It's.
That was a huge
Yes.
step a few years ago. It was great.
So this is just a snapshot of what our budget looks like. Now, yes, there's two FY 27s compared to 26. There's an FY 27 budget with the plus two new officers. Adding to the current, it's 2 new positions. It's a request, and I'll get into that more. So we're gonna take a look, a little interesting bubble. We're gonna first take a look at our salaries and wages. Now, on this here, if you look at the salaries and wages and you look at the column 5A, the blue column, the only increases there, the only increases you see are contractual obligations. Step increases, education incentives, stipends, that's it, no COLA. That's the only increase in 5A. 5B is the 2 officers. And what you see there is an increase for 2 officers. And with the 2 officers, you see a slight reduction in overtime. A slight, yes, it is slight. But it's a slight reduction in overtime because we no longer have to fill those vacancies. We no longer have to backfill vacancies. So we've said this before, if you have extra officers, you have now a buffer. So as if an officer is out on a shift, you don't have to backfill because now you go down to the 3 on patrol. See what I'm saying? I don't know if that was confusing what I just said, but.
No, we haven't explained the 3 sectors versus 4 yet.
Right, so I'll do that real quickly. Now, currently, as I said before, we are running 3 sectors with 3 officers on the road, each assigned to a sector. By adding 2 new positions to the department, that doesn't give us a 4th sector around the clock, but it gives us a 4th sector on times that are most important. That we can actually control the overtimes a little bit more, whereas when an officer is out and there's 4 officers working, 1 out, we still can run with 3. That's pretty much it. You know, 2 officers will not give us a 4th sector around the clock, but it will give us the buffer, I should say, of having the ability to have more officers on the street at times when it is slightly busier.
Impact shifts.
Impact shifts. That's what technically what they call them, impact shifts. And we've talked about all different things of overlapping shifts. That's what happens when you start having your numbers up where your vacancies are filled or you get extra staffing. You start becoming creative where you can actually have different shifts other than just the 8 to 4, the 4 to midnight, and the midnight to 8. You can now run shifts 2 to 2 to 10, or 2 to, however, you can offset the shifts so that there's always someone on the road. Or the busiest times, like I said. So back to this. This is a list of kind of some bullet points of the addition of 2 patrol officers position, besides the fact that it creates it helps us with the overtime cost, but it also increases officer safety, improves officer wellness and morale, addresses the demands created by higher call volumes, improves response times, focuses on specific community issues, reinstates designated officer for traffic enforcement. That's huge. Because with an extra officer, then you can actually assign an officer to do strictly traffic, and traffic is like #1 complaint in this town, traffic issues. Better resource allocation, higher community engagement, ability to apply flexible patrol strategies, that's what I just talked about overlapping shifts and whatnot. More support for programs and specialized units. With more officers, you can actually do more with the community, work more within the community more. And reduce overtime costs. I mean, those are some of the basic things, but really what it comes down to is we're at a point where our call volume, the time spent on calls, the complexity of calls, you know, it just ties up more officers and you need more officers to actually do the job, really what it comes down to.
First step to get to a full force sector.
Yes,
Gets us
yeah,
closer to the
it's
goal.
baby steps that we're trying to do here, you know,
So you're
you know,
trying to increase to a full 4.
yeah,
Okay.
eventually, it would be nice.
Moving toward that end goal.
Yes,
So would that be 6 people to do that?
to actually do that, it would probably 5 or 6, yes, yes.
Can I ask, my first time, you're gonna hear this a lot from me, since it's my first time doing this, but like, how do you, like, what metrics are you, like your hard metrics and saying we need more patrolmen on the street? So like 5 years ago, do you measure like calls per patrol officer? Where
So-
was that metric then? Where is it now? 'Cause
So,
everybody wants more heads, so I'm just trying to figure out, like, what are the hard metrics you're looking at?
so the hard metrics, believe it or not, go all the way back to 1976. Because in 1976, this town ran with 3 patrol officers, 1 sergeant, and 1 station officer. Back in 1976, and it's been the same ever since, and the call volume has almost tripled. And you're gonna hear the same from fire. Fire's gonna tell you the exact same story. We've increased our police department in numbers, but there've been detectives. So in other words, you had patrol staff, and instead of filling for patrol staff, we've said, okay, we're gonna make another detective. So we take a patrol officer, put that person in detectives. Now we're light on patrol. So we're starting to catch up and fill a lot of the specialized over the years since 1976, we've actually, you know, increased detectives, you know, detective sergeant. Back then, they had detectives, but they didn't have the numbers. But you see what I'm saying is we've taken from patrol and we've never added to the department. We've used the same pool of officers to actually expand the departments in specialized positions. And that's,
And we used the IACP model to do a study about 3 years ago now. And that stated that we needed about 6 officers. And then the town commissioned another study through MRI. It's a study group from New Hampshire over the border, and they suggested that we actually needed 7 more officers. And we have, you know, all of the information compiled. I believe it's on the website. But those are the 2 different, and they both said we were lacking compared to, you know, population, call volume, you know, response times, all of those.
Yeah,
There is a formula.
You against everybody else.
yeah, and again, anybody's welcome to that staffing study. Totally, thank you for reminding me. That was a big study. In fact, they even took they even took like square mileage into play. They took into so many factors and to build this equation, and they came up that, hey, you know, you guys are understaffed.
Is that on your website,
Yeah.
that study?
No, it's not.
Maybe it could be.
Yeah, it could be, yes.
Get that uploaded to your website in
Yeah.
case people wanna take a look.
Yeah, oh, yeah, well,
But I think the most
Put on
compelling
Clear
thing that when I was
Yes.
talking to the guys is, the staffing patrol is the same as it was. And the population is almost doubled.
Yep, and the call volume is almost triple, and the complexity of calls compared to 1976, I mean. It's a no-brainer, like in 1976, when, you know, go home, a drunk, you know, get out of here. You know, now you can't do that, especially with the mental health issues we have today, and, you know, there's so many factors involved today that the officers are responsible for, and there's so much reporting that goes with it. the complexity and time on calls now is crazy. And again, you know, like the fire department's gonna tell you the same story. They're going through the same similar situation.
Mr. McGee would like to speak.
Oh, yes, Mr. McGee.
Hi, Mike.
Oh, you're muted.
You're muted, Mike.
Hi, everyone. How are you?
Good.
Good.
I just, and I'm probably have the same kind of questions for fire too. You know, we've heard about what is not trickling down from Beacon Hill. And, you know, we're not the only town faced with a lot of these issues with public safety. Have you and the other chiefs discussed regionalizing a lot of the specialized issues to prevent these situations where you have multiple officers on a car crash on Route 3, or say a large drug intervention or something like that, where there's neighboring towns that's what they do. They send, you know, a couple of people over so that you don't lose a patrol officer. You maybe have your specialized folks go to something like that, sharing costs or things like that for staffing. And also with respect to, I think the body cam is a big issue. Working with even the DA countywide on getting all of the town's body cams, and maybe having one location that manages all the data and storage of that, because it's not just the body cam, it's having the infrastructure to be able to maintain all that and provide it to the DA's office, and all of the things that go along with discovery in the courthouses now. I think it is becoming more commonplace for departments to have it, but it's cost prohibitive. And I was just wondering if there's been any discussions about doing that as a county or with other local police departments around.
As far as the body cam goes, no, there hasn't been any discussion as far as doing it with the county. A lot of what these companies are doing, whether it's Axon or Motorola, is they're presenting a package that includes everything, all the equipment, the unlimited iCloud storage, the redaction software. It's all included. It's all inclusive. But no, there hasn't been any discussion as far as that goes, as you know, a county wide type of program, I should say. No, there hasn't. And as far as like crashes go and stuff, you pretty much you have what you have in town. If it happens to be a crash where there's a fatal, you're going to get the state police to come in and do their crash with their crash analysis team. As far as detectives go, the detectives have what the South Shore Detectives Association, where they all work together in different towns, and at times our detectives go to Marshfield and help them, and vice versa, so that we don't tie up our people too much. We can, but for the most part, when like the example I just gave you, other than mutual aid, and believe me, the towns around us are very courteous when it comes to that. They pretty much help us just like we'd help them as much as we can. But that's about it. I mean, we don't have, if there's a motor vehicle crash that comes in, we can't say, well, call this, 1-800 number and, we're going to get more help. It doesn't work that way.
They're understaffed as well.
They're understaffed as well. Everybody,
Yeah, it's a statewide problem. And I'm just, I think your modest requests maybe don't solve the
No.
catastrophic issues, and everybody faces them, and the public demands appropriate response. And I don't know, in my optimistic world, maybe at some point the county and the state kind of addresses these issues a little better. It shouldn't be on the towns to try to.
I hate it when you're hopeful, Mike.
Yeah, I like what I'm hearing, Mike.
Yeah. So, all right, well, that's my comment/question.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Along Mike's notion of regionalization, we already have The Rock,
The Rock.
and it has 7 communities in it. But is there some way these programs that we're talking about with the the cams and the backup and all of the body cams and the backup. Could it be done through the Rock where they could offer it to 6 or 7 towns and there'd be some. I mean, obviously, the Commonwealth likes the fact that we have a regional dispatch center, and they're supportive of it. Maybe that's another way to garner support for some of these other things you need, that every other community that's in the Rock needs as well.
I don't know how that could be done. I do know,
I have no idea.
I have no idea. I do know that
That's the
some of
only
the.
thing I know of, it's really regionalized. that we-
Yeah, I don't know how that would be, a body cam program would be regionalized. I don't know how that would be done. A lot of the departments that are through the Rock now already have body cams. And their systems, you know, their programs up and running.
And that 911 program is pretty, they're pretty definitive on what they will and will not
Yes.
fund on their,
That's, yeah,
their development
And
funds.
there are also chain of custody pieces that we have to.
Yeah.
yeah, that's,
Specific to.
Yeah.
Good point.
Department, Hanover.
yeah,
Whatever.
you know, that's another whole thing. Good point, you know, it's evidence. I mean, and it has to be, the chain of custody is tight, you know,
It's
and
the way you're governed too. I mean,
Yep.
it's each individual force, you know, with your policies and procedures,
Right.
as well as the chain of all of the evidence and all of the things that have to be
And you can't
Yeah.
share body cams. They've got to be specific to the office.
the officer
So-
and the situation.
that.
right?
Yeah.
Mark?
Thank you. Maybe I'm jumping ahead, or maybe it's in the capital budget request, just body cams for your department. I think everyone would view those are kind of table stakes these days. What is that for your department? What would that be? How much?
oh, well, I'm gonna get into that.
Stay tuned.
Yes, stay tuned. So this is salaries and wages, and like I said, it is pretty, it's pretty straightforward. So let's move on to expenses. Oop, come on. Uh-oh. Come on.
Maybe you can get a new clicker.
Got a battery in that clicker?
Yeah, it's brand. All right, something.
It's moving. Wait,
No, that's,
No, that's,
yeah, just send to the next slide if you can. I don't know why this isn't working.
it's out to get you, buddy.
Yeah, it is. Oh, I just did it. All right, there it is. Oh,
Back again.
there we go. Nobody move.
Don't click again.
All right,
Hands up.
this is our expenses. Now. So. With expenses, you're gonna see some increases, and a lot of them are the known expenses. When I say known, obviously electric and gas, you know, up a certain percentage. And then we can go down here and you can see some increases on certain things that we know have increased recently. So obviously they're in FY 27, they're going to increase. Now, one big one, before I get into the TASER program and the body cam program. One increase you're gonna see that's increased is dramatically is the uniforms and clothing. That speaks for itself. The stuff is so expensive. I mean, a uniform shirt and a uniform pants is $140. It's crazy. The equipment is just, the pricing has gone through the roof. So we had, that's a big jump there. Let me talk about the TASER program and the body cam program. What we decided to do is we decided in the recommendation actually of the finance director as well, I ran this by her, is to, instead of asking for these programs in capital, we decided to do a contractual obligation, a 5-year contract with Axon, with tasers and body cams combined. And that gives us a savings of over $170,000. These programs would be contracted for 5 years, which includes all equipment, all accessories, all unlimited cloud space. Now, with the body cams, the way they do it is after 2.5 years, they give you all brand new equipment. They basically take the old equipment, they give you all brand new equipment because it's all updated technology. The tasers, one breaks, replace it. Everything is totally replaceable, 100%. They give you spare tasers, they give you, this is another big thing, with this taser program. What would come out of expenses would be taser cartridges, the targets, the practice targets. Those are very expensive. Those taser cartridges, I believe are like $60 a piece. Is that right, Frank? Something like that? All of that comes out because now in this program, it's all included.
Is it a lease program?
It's a lease program. And what they do, because I realize the town only does 3-year leases. Is what Axon does is they do a 3-year lease and then at the end of 3 years, they do an extension and then another extension. To get the 5 years out of the
I
system.
think we do longer leases than 3.
Oh, I was always under, it was 3, so I don't know, but either way,
Because I think that the Chromebooks are,
Oh,
is a
yeah.
5-year for the schools.
that's right, yeah.
And,
Yes,
because that I saw that was in
That's right.
capital.
that's right. I remember seeing that now. So that's good to know.
Yeah,
good to
so
know.
I would double check that with Alex.
So,
Because if that's the case, if we're doing the Chromebooks for 5 years and considering it a capital expense. It might be something that you weigh the benefits of doing it and under what heading. The thing that scared me the most about the tasers, not scared me about the tasers, I think they're a good tool for you to have. Rather, I think somebody rather get tased than shot, so that's a nice,
Precisely.
that's a plus.
That's
You have a
precisely
non-lethal.
A non-lethal
a
option.
very
That's huge
good
plus.
non-lethal.
But
option.
you had told me that once you get to that 5-year mark with these things, the liability
Yes.
insurance provided by these guys is gone.
Gone,
So we have no liability if the taser
Yes.
doesn't function correctly.
and call it what you want. And I'll get into that a little bit.
Or you have all the liability.
I can't.
You have all the
Or
liability.
you have all the liability.
Yes.
Yes, but what happens is, and you can certainly speak to this
I
better
will.
than I can, but yeah, the liability that is covered
Yes.
by the company under the lease, which was a plus.
Like they take care of everything. I have the quotes, I mean, everything is covered, everything is replaceable 100%. It's a great program, and this is what towns are doing to make it affordable. And so that they don't have equipment that they have to find money for to replace or like the body cams. If you're gonna purchase body cams, you better be ready to pay for all the accessories. If one breaks, you gotta buy a new one, all of that. So
In years past, did you not do this program just for cost reasons or?
in the past, so this program, as far as Exxon bundling this, they really didn't do this in the past. Now the body cams are very popular and every town's doing it and people are replacing their tasers. They've combined the two together to make it a package because they manufacture the taser and the body cam. And as far as them being manufacturers of the body cam, I don't know about you, but every time you see the news or YouTube video, whatever, of some police activity across this country, it's usually Axon. They're like the leaders in body cam all over the world, actually.
Chief, just want to understand the distinction between the capital expense versus the operational expense, right? So by putting it in your actual operational budget, it becomes institutionalized, is that make that?
Well, he's gonna have to pay it every year.
You have to
Yeah.
pay it every year, but what it does is, so after the 5 years, you're gonna have to re-up.
Right,
And
but you've got a period of 5 years that you are up to date from start to
right,
finish, and then it starts again, then you come
Correct.
back and ask.
with all new
additional
equipment,
content.
all new, and also too, you're spreading the cost out quite a bit, and you're saving money. Whereas if you were to purchase them, first of all, you gotta come up with that one big lump sum, and also owning this electronics is just
No,
not a
it
good,
doesn't make any sense.
Yeah.
It's not like a truck that's gonna last 30 years.
Right.
It's a return trip too, right? So once you have, fully devalued or no longer, I would say operational, but old stuff,
Mhm.
right? It doesn't have the value that it initially had, right? So this continues to keep the programs current.
Correct.
And the equipment current.
Yes.
And.
Yes.
Again, warranties and all
Right.
that kind of stuff.
Right.
Okay.
So with that, I can move on and I can explain the taser replacement a little bit further, but does anybody have any other questions?
Mike does.
Oh, Mike, go ahead.
Just on this point, just dovetailing off what Fred said earlier, could you reach out to the other member towns of the Rock, and see if they would want to go into a lease with you? And not only on the cost, but the managing of the output, burning burning, onto thumb drives for the DA's office and things like that. I just don't want to have to be in a position that you'd need more staff to have to do things like that, where we already have all these folks at the Rock that are doing that for 911 tapes and things of that nature. Might be we have those towns. I don't know if they're also looking for body cameras. Just a thought, maybe we could go on another bundle with those towns.
We're talking just about getting the equipment in-house, not the operational piece of it.
No, I get that, but they're together. You buy something, you own the process too. That's honestly just in my end of the business, as a prosecutor, this is hugely time consuming. Burning officers 7 hours of body cam footage and having it ready for a defense attorney is significant. So if you have a bunch of towns that we're already using the Rock for your 911 tapes, your footage from outside of department, they're professionals on that. I'm just wondering with the 6 or 7, whatever, 6 towns that we have on the Rock, if they're also doing similar asks of their town, if we could go for the equipment lease together with them and also manage the data together.
So most of the towns that are with the Rock have already jumped on and are doing their own thing. Now, as far as record requests go with the body cams, it's all electronic. The redaction software automatically will send links to the DA's office. There's no burning of disk or flash drives or anything like that.
They have the capabilities and the technology
To the DA's office will have a link. They actually will.
Right to the iCloud.
I
They
don't
can
know
have
what they're doing in Norfolk County.
Yeah.
But here in Plymouth County, we don't do that.
No comment.
So apparently the way it's set up, Mike, is the DA's office will have a access to our redaction so that when they put a request in, we can give them permission to have that video.
Access the links, yeah.
And there's automatic redaction as far as you can set it up as far as faces go and all that. There's automatic redaction.
Digitize it.
Yeah, it's all computerized, because the first thing that I said was the records request is gonna be very cumbersome, just a lot of work. And they said, yeah, not as much as you think. Yes, with serious incidences, there's gonna be a review of everything before we release it and all that. They'll be time consuming. Now, I reached out to several towns locally around here that have body cams, and they said, yeah, don't get caught up in all this records requests. It's gonna take so much time and all that. There are a lot of records requests, but the system is set up that it's just electronically out into space. It's that easy.
There's nothing on-prem.
Right. As far as Mike, your question is, I can reach out to Joe and I can talk to some of the other towns about, grouping everything together, but I don't know if that's possible right now. I just don't know how that would work.
Yeah, I don't know. I just feel like we're all asking our towns for the same kind of thing, and it just seems, we
It
have
does.
the Rock, and it's like CSI in there. They have a lot of
But
resources.
they're limited on what they can and cannot fund from the 911 money. I mean, we certainly can ask Joe if that's possible, but from our conversations with him, Chuck, I did not get the impression that they were able to buy equipment for the individual
They
departments.
certainly can't buy tasers.
No.
So
No, not
you won't-
tasers, yeah.
well, you wouldn't get the
Or
bundle
body
then.
cams.
I think Mike's overall point is if we buy the body cams, does that equate a requirement for another FTE? Or is the leasing and the hosting by Axon going to provide that capability? Like, if you buy the body cams, do you now need another FTE to do all the
To
data
the ops
requests and
piece of it.
processing and?
No, it's all part of the redaction
That
software.
was Mike's
Oh,
overall.
no, it's,
Yeah.
this is all part of the it comes with it.
Okay.
It comes with its own
We have
software.
a Lieutenant that's in
Yep.
charge of records requests and public requests for information.
Yeah, it sounds like Mike beats up his departments where it consumes a exorbitant amount of time.
Again,
so-
Norfolk versus
Yeah,
Plymouth, it's, yeah.
I think that
This
was
is just a Mike McGee problem. Let's put it down.
So I'll give you, I talked to the Brookline chief of police and they went with a cheap. They went with a system
Less
that's
expensive.
less expensive and the cameras that are Axis, not Axon, Axis. And they don't have any of this fancy stuff. They have a video that they gotta look at and they gotta retract and then they gotta burn it on a disc and send it off. So there are systems out there like that. This is not that.
Okay.
Okay,
All right,
moving on.
moving on. Hey, it worked. So the taser replacement. First of all, I just want to make it a point, and this is what was brought up when I questioned the sales rep from Axon. I said, hey, come on. 5 years, these tasers are no good. And he said, look, I'm gonna tell you that, yeah, they'll still work. Maybe. But just remember one thing, they're electronics. They're a little computer. In fact, many of you don't know this, but this battery has to be docked every 2 weeks or something like that. And when it is docked, it not only charges, but it downloads all the activity that the officer, whether it was pulled out, it was holster, turned on, test. They have to do a test. Everything is logged. And if it's used, it tells you when it was used, how long it was used, date, time stamped, everything. So it's a computer and it's all electronic. And quite frankly, it does make sense when the electronics get old. And, you know, as we know, these things are out in the weather and everything. So he sent me a document about, because a lot of departments have the same question. I gotta replace these tasers, these things cost a fortune. And so the senior director of Taser Legal and Assistant General Counsel of Axon has this quote. She says that the main concern with using energy weapons that are past their 5-year useful life is the potential that they will not be effective in the field when needed in potentially dangerous situations. This may lead to injury of the officer and/or suspect or escalation of the use of force, which may in turn lead to workers' compensation claims and/or litigation against the agency. Axon therefore strongly recommends that energy weapons be removed from the field after 5 years of use. Additionally, Exxon will not service energy weapons that are past 5-year useful life and will not provide its product liability insurance certificate.
There you go.
So that's what they sent me, and they sent me the letter. I have it. Basically, you want to use them, you're on your own. Not, they may work, maybe misfunction, but you're on your own. So that's the tasers. The body cams, we all probably can come up with the same little bullet points here of why the benefits and why they're so important. I mean, I don't want to have to bore you to death, but you know, they enhance transparency and accountability. They improve evidence collection, reduction in complaints and use of force incidents. That's a big one. That's a big one. Reduction in complaints, and Frank can hit on that. Training and performance review. It's a great tool for training. Protection against false claims. That goes along with reduction in complaints. Community trust and engagement. Support for policy and reform initiatives. Now, community trust and engagement, believe it or not, after a while, the community starts to trust the officers more because, first of all, body cams help. They make us do the right thing, and it makes the public do the right thing because you're being recorded. Now, as far as I want Friend to actually hit on protection against false claims, because Friend does all our IAs.
Yeah, we've had 4 complaints this summer alone. That if we had had the body cam footage, it would have, you know, told the true story of what took place. You know, it's hard to do when it's a he said, she said type of scenario, but if someone makes a complaint, I could have come in and shown that we had witnesses that observed, you know, that were objective, But to have the body camera footage, you know, that's the convincer where I said, let's come in and review the body camera footage. If I have that ability, the complaint goes away. All four of them, the officers were exonerated, but again, there were false claims came through like that, and it's more defensible. It removes liability from the department as well as the town overall. And it also lowers the, we get
Oh,
a
yeah.
benefit from Maya.
Maya, that's right, I forgot, I talked to Nancy O'Connor and she said that body cams will give us a major reduction in our.
Maya
Liability
insurance.
Major,
And that's the 5A budget.
yep,
Okay.
yep,
Okay.
so that, you know,
Chief,
yes.
if you have body worn cams, would you consider as part of your body worn cam policy to do away with an interview room or the audio and video for an interview room and just use your body cams?
No.
Okay.
I like the interview room because it actually creates a setting that is more relaxing, more, you know, I think if you're interviewing a suspect,
I meant
Um,
the audio and video in it. Use the body
Oh,
cam
no.
in the room.
no,
Okay.
absolutely not. Nope.
Okay.
What, the 5B budget, there's 20,399 in the same line item.
Oh,
So the bundle is 49,000, but then you just, in the B, I'm just asking what the B request is for the equipment lease program.
Yeah, that
That's a
20,000 is
reduction.
confusing to me too.
so
It's a reduction.
it's a reduction,
Like the bundle saving.
correct,
Oh,
over the
oh,
years, yes,
Okay,
Yes.
thank you.
yes,
You had told me that before.
yes. So anything in parentheses obviously is a reduction. And it's kind of color coded. 5A is blue.
So
and-
so the equipment lease is in A. And
Yes, yes, we discussed that and
yes, we did.
Well, the tasers they have are outdated, so we've got to replace them.
Right, right.
And if you're gonna move it to body cams, to bundle them economically makes some sense.
it does.
And I think we waited a while to have body cams. I think the time is now.
And we're trying to get ahead of it before it becomes mandated, which the
Good point.
educated guess is that it's gonna happen. Sooner or later.
Sooner or later, but it's gonna be unfunded. I mean, Post is already doing all sorts of mandated training, mandated this, mandated that, and they're not,
Oh, we're not
Funded.
pretending someone's gonna help us pay for it.
no,
No,
nobody's gonna help you.
no, we
It's the
don't.
way it is.
We don't.
You know, everybody can make up the rules, but
Yeah.
nobody wants to.
No, that's fine.
So that's pretty much it. I just want to say, you know, once again, that patrol officers are the foundation of our department's success. Their effectiveness depends on the constant support, modern equipment, and ongoing training. We are proud to operate as a full-service agency with a highly trained and well-equipped team. But to keep on pace with the evolving challenges of modern policing, we must continue to invest in our people by increasing staffing levels and in reinforcing our operation capacity. We ensure our officers are empowered to serve our community with professionalism, safety, and excellence. Thank you.
A couple of number questions, if we could.
Yes, please.
Sure, absolutely.
So I'm looking at the printed thing you got here with the blue number, 85,924, and that looks fine. And then I'm just looking at the clear gov, and there may be a reason.
So,
That 5A budget is 60.
yes, so,
So what's the difference? in-
no, what's the problem is please don't go in by ClearGov.
Okay,
So these
Okay.
this is all new. ClearGov was locked. I had to have Mary unlock it. Now I have to update it.
okay.
So my conversation that I had with Chuck and Betsy, I had to make some adjustments.
Excellent. So follow-up question on that, chief, okay?
Yep.
We've talked about, is it Axon, is that the?
Excellent.
So the 85 is all in for a 3-year with 2 1-year renewals, if I understood that correctly, right?
Yes.
And is this a proposed or a discussion stage? Now, how good is that number, that 85?
Very good.
Oh,
In fact, I probably can do a little bit more negotiating with the company.
okay. I just want to get a feel for it.
And the sales rep and I have had numerous conversations and I told him
He's
that.
not listening to this meeting.
I know, and it doesn't matter. Cause I told them straight up that, you know, we need to talk about a few things, cause the quotes are a mile long. And
Actually,
with all the
I
pieces
hope the
that
sales
go.
rep is listening because he knows we're gonna get a little bit tougher. but
Yes.
that's good.
Yes,
And he's
Yeah.
gonna want to have the business. Because if he has
Right.
that kind of reputation, he's gonna go after a
Yep.
town like Duxbury is that's a public safety group.
yes,
So that's good for you.
Yep.
And I like challenges.
Also, we need to get the number on the savings to the insurance. And the additional potential cost to liability that we'd have to carry if we were using the ones that were. The older ones. The older ones.
okay.
And if they won't fix it, if they're broken, do we throw them away? We have to buy new ones?
We trade them in. We trade them in and that's actually credit that we're gonna get towards the new package.
No, no, I'm
Oh.
just saying, if we didn't get the new package, if we
Oh,
if we said, sorry, no go. And you still have the old tasers, you're trying to use a year over the 5 mark. What do you do if one's broken?
you buy a new one.
But can you buy the same one or is it
Possibly
different
not.
docking stations? Or- I
Different,
mean,
yes. Yeah,
So-
that's a very good point, because I had that conversation with Axon and I said, well, they said, well, we do have some of the older models still available, but we can't guarantee you anything.
Yeah,
Batteries were a big thing. They said, we're no longer gonna manufacture the batteries for the Taser 7.
well, I figure it's like the iPhone, they change the charger.
That's exactly what it's
Every
like.
time they send
Yep.
out a new
Business
model.
plan, right?
It's a good, yeah, it's a business.
But
Yep.
I think in my mind, more importantly, is not so much about, obviously, it's important that the taser be functional. But if it's not functional, the liability of not having a functional equipment is a concern for, I think, the town.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
Okay,
Quick question,
Sure.
does your budget here reflect all the efforts you do with respect to the harbor master, summer activities in the beach or on the water? Is
no,
that ice, what?
No.
No, okay. So
No.
I speculate there could be opportunities for the harbor master to generate more revenue, so I'm curious of what additional costs they might be able to reimburse you in your budget to provide you
The
additional.
harbor master?
the harbor master doesn't.
No, they don't work under us.
No,
No, I understand,
Oh.
I'm just saying, if the town was able to generate more revenue through the harbor master. Are there some sort of shared resources where they could take more of the burden to
I
free
don't know.
up resources for you?
Especially general fund.
they don't carry guns anymore. Remember when you guys
Yeah.
were kids, Donnie had a gun and they
Right.
were trained and they were part of the police force.
Casing us.
Police reform took that all away.
That all went away.
Yeah.
So it's difficult. They work in, I had this conversation with Jake, Chris, about something happens on the water, somebody's
Yeah.
broken the law or dies or whatever. Actually, there's a duplicity in the fact that because they handle different areas, they don't work the same.
Well, no revenue goes into the general fund.
And it all goes in the general fund anyway.
We have a very good relationship with Jake. He knows, calls us, and we call him, vice versa. He needs help. But yeah, there's really, we're
There's
not,
different functions.
yeah, different functions, yeah.
Okay, Mr. Rath.
Any other questions? Anything?
That's good.
No,
Thank
that's great.
you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Do you have any questions? or-
Thank you.
There's nobody up there, I don't think.
Anybody has any questions, please email it. If you think of something afterwards.
No worries.
Honestly.
Everybody's got.
I know.
This is so exciting. You lease the clicker.
No.
It's your clicker. Yeah, it says name on it, Mike's clicker.
Oh, boy.
Thank Allison too for us.
Yeah, I will. Yeah, she's in Ohio. She's back today, tomorrow. She went to Ohio to visit her daughter.
Oh, great. Oh, great.
You need a bathroom break before we start?
Are you being critical of the police force on your?
No, I had to take that from there.
Oh, you- That's nice. You feeling comfortable?
Stay hydrated, Chief.
Okay, that's nice.
All right, thank you, everyone, again.
Hi, guys, thank you.
Have a
Thank
good
you so
night.
much.
Thank you too.
Did everything? Yep, I think
And I talked to Mary and Alex, though, whether that, you know, which way it would go as far as capital or operating,
Okay.
because it's a 5-year.
Yep, yep. Sounds good.
Yeah.
Take care.
Bye. Clicker. It's good. Oh, there we go. Oh, no, we've done this one.
I'm gonna tell you what he doesn't need now. I'm waiting for him to
Is
leave.
he out of earshot? Is that what you're doing?
He's in the parking lot.
He's in the parking lot. Now we're gonna get that.
You got it? All right.
You know, I talk to every once in a while.
Oh, I didn't say anything.
Oh, rats.
There we go. Good,
Those happy smiling faces.
absolutely.
You do post this on third of.
Not yet, because I didn't want you spying on it. I will tomorrow.
No previews.
Okay, I'm just gonna make sure this clicker works. Good, great,
Oh.
Excellent.
Oh.
good evening. I know pretty much everyone in the room, I haven't met you, my name is Rob Reardon, I'm your fire chief. Tonight, we're gonna do a presentation on our budget. It's not a lot of slides, I'll cut it down to about 86, so we should be out of here by 10. But this is the message I say every year. To reduce the impact of an emergency, there needs to be a response to the right number of trained people with the right equipment in the right time. So take a look at this picture. It's 5 firefighters and 1 captain. I know you can't see the captain because it's shaded a little bit. Those are your firefighters. Those are the actual firefighters that are working today over at the 2 stations. Those six members. That's important. 'Cause I want you to remember how many firefighters we have protecting the town right now. So this is an image you might have seen from Fall River. The fire that they had here. Now I want you to start counting. Look at the helmets and start counting. I can make it a lot easier. There's 11. There's 11 firefighters in that one picture trying to save one person's life. We will never have 11 firefighters on duty at our fire stations. When we show up at a fire, if there's a fire tonight, the maximum amount of people that we'll have there is 6 until we can recall people and get people from other towns. And I will give you data to show you how that works. But it isn't just fire. The next question we get is we do an ambulance service, obviously. We have paramedics over there. We take care of people. We save people's lives on a regular basis. This is the call that we had less than a month ago. I'll read some of the important parts to you. Woman who made a frantic 911 call after her daughter collapsed. On the way, our crew had to administer CPR. Their quick actions unequivocally saved her life. So what I want you to know about this call was, again, how many did I tell you we had on duty? 6. A lot of people think when we're in the ambulance, there's 2 people. We had 4 people in the ambulance, to say it that way. Sometimes it takes 5. So what's that leave us? 2 people in town. So this call here, we threw everything we had. We had 4 people. We had 4 paramedics in there doing life-saving interventions that unequivocally saved her life. I can talk about this day in and day out. I can't tell you the details because of HIPAA. They're coming in next week to meet the crew that saved her life. I bored some of you because you've seen the slide, but you haven't. Maybe some of the people at home haven't. 46 years ago, we went to 5 firefighters on duty. 46 years. We did 1,100 calls back then. We had probably 9,000 people in this town. Today, we have 6. We've increased our staff by 1. We've tripled our calls from 1,100 to over 3,000 calls. We had 1 ambulance back there. We had EMTs back then. We now have paramedics. It's a much different environment. The same stuff that Chief Carbone talks about are the same things that we're dealing with. I don't have to tell you the calls, the trauma that we're dealing with, the horrific calls that we're dealing with. This isn't the same Duxbury that we protected 10 years ago. So at Station 1 right now, I have 1 captain and I have 3 firefighters. Station 2, I have 2 firefighters. It's a shuffle every single day of what they're gonna be in. Because we're running so many calls back to back. We're able to handle that first call, and then when the second call comes in, we start to get overwhelmed. Last year, 3,011 calls we did. Here's a number to pay attention to, 1,490 simultaneous calls. That means at least 2 calls are going on at the same time. And an even more important number is 286 recalls. 286 times last year, we brought firefighter paramedics from their homes in to cover the town. That's more than 2 out of every 3 days. You tell me another department in this town that has to recall people back off duty because we don't have enough to cover. I quite often get questions about our overtime. Our overtime keeps going up. We don't have an overtime issue, we have a staffing issue. We can't staff properly. We are understaffed. One of the things that you'll see me bring up in my capital budget is a staffing study. It was suggested years ago. I actually got an estimate from MRI, the company the police department said. But I guarantee if we do it, you'll be shocked at the number of firefighters they suggest we should have to protect our town. Let's look at the emergency responses. Let's go back to 1979. That's one of the years I had some data on. 1,107 calls. That's also when we had 5 firefighters. If you start to look at the last 20 years and look at the call increase from 05 to 25, we have 1,000 call increase. I want you to look at that picture. See what's going on. This is back in May when we were cut down to 5 firefighters. We had a critically injured patient. All 5 firefighters are working to save that person's life. Drawing up meds, working on EKGs, starting an IV, getting the person on oxygen. Critical patients. It's not 1 paramedic, it's not 2 paramedics. We rely heavily on everybody over there. This is a team sport. Getting that, I was at that call, getting that patient into the car, or into the ambulance, I'm sorry. But it's important for you to realize what it takes to save somebody's life. It's a team sport, and it all goes back to staffing. Why don't we just rely on mutual aid? This is the reason why we can't. We had a building fire a few weeks ago on Congress Street. The initial call came in at 11:04 in the morning. I arrived at 11:09. That's when I requested a working fire. When you request a working fire, that's when you start to get mutual aid. Working fire gets me 4 towns to come in. At 11:15, I still have nobody there. No other town helping. I call a second alarm to get me more help. Plimpton, first one who showed up, they were here in 11 minutes. Only reason they were here that fast is they were on the way here to have our mechanic take a look at their ambulance and hook up our scanner. Start to look at these numbers. Pembroke, 13 minutes. Marshfield, 16 minutes. Hanover, 18. Kingston, 25 minutes. That's what you're waiting for. When we don't staff appropriately, we put our fate in other towns. Other towns who are struggling just like us. Kingston, you know what's going on there. They're building like crazy. Marshfield, they staff with 10 or 12 a shift, but they're busy too. So all these other towns that we're relying on, their call volume's going up, and they're also scrambling for staff. We did what you told us to do. We raised up our fees. So if you take a look at our ambulance revenue from FY '24, you can see we raised it and increased our fees and increased our revenue 10.3%. So we brought in last year 1.2 million in ambulance revenue. Then you take a look at our permits inspections. We did the same thing. We increased our revenue by 31%, up to 35,300. So last year, the fire department's revenue that we brought in was almost $1.3 million. Our total budget is approximately 4.5 million.
How do you determine fees for ambulance? Right, how does that $1.2 million get generated during the year? Like when you increase fees 10%, like what is that? I forget me, like if
How do you determine how much you can go up?
Like, how does that generate it?
So we look at comparable towns, we look at what they charge. And we try not to be at the highest, we try not to be at the lowest, and we work with our billing company to come up with a reasonable rate. And to try to supplement, I mean, I'm sure you know, the reason for fees is supposed to go back to the agency to support the agency. So we were told, we were charged with, let's get some more revenue to support the service, so that's how we ended up coming up with the raising of raising the fees.
I mean, so if someone needs to take an ambulance ride, I'm sure you bill the insurance company and then they reimburse you.
Correct. And then there's also Medicare, Medicaid, which doesn't give you all of it.
Yeah, that's capped.
Correct. So Medicare, Medicaid, you can only get a portion of it.
Yep.
There's people who are private, there's people who are self-pays, there's a lot of self-pays in this town. And typically we're going to insurance companies to get the money.
Do you feel there's an opportunity, given the cost of inflation, resources that are needed to provide the level of service, there's more opportunity for increasing the fee revenue?
We just increased it in January. I think we're at a very fair rate. I guess the question would be, if we're gonna increase the rates, what's the reason? Is it gonna go back into the service?
Well, I would imagine your resource demands keep going up, salaries go up, inflation goes up, like there's, there's a cost to provide a service.
Cost of an ambulance is going up.
Yeah, cost of an ambulance is going up, so.
How
I
often
think
do you
there's a-
review the fees?
We just did it in January,
Yeah,
so we made a considerable jump.
But you do a scheduled review of fees against, so I think that's where he's headed.
Oh,
How
okay,
often
yeah.
do you review?
Yeah, so every department reviews fees, so we just reviewed fees, but we just raised them, so.
But you'll review fees again?
We do.
Is it
On
annual
continual.
or is it semi-annual? How often? Annual? So annually they review against their, what they,
Again, I don't think this town has a cost problem, it has a revenue problem,
Yes.
so. Every department that provides a service, to the extent you charge for that service, I think it should be a honest view of, are we covering the costs of providing that service? And if not, then I'm a huge advocate for increasing the fees.
I agree. We bring the stuff to fiscal advisory, and sometimes we're met with, difficulty rating. Because the question goes back to, what are we raising the fees for? The majority of this goes back to the general fund, so it doesn't go back to support us. So if we're raising those fees, that has to be a question, is it going to the ambulance, is it going to hire more paramedics, are we going
But
to?
even if it
support
goes to
staff?
the general fund pays for the services that you're providing in your department, so it is a bit circular, but if you're providing the service, I hope the fees and the revenue generated, offset the cost of providing that service, if not more, to pay for all the other aspects of your department that need to be invested in. So
I
again, I'm just an
think
advocate
the
for-
ambulance fees definitely offset the portion of the paramedic service and the ambulances and that, but it doesn't take care of the fire service. If you look at the permanent inspection fees, we raised those.
Mhm.
So Mass General laws, they determine the max. We went to the max. When I say that, I don't want you to be scared saying that thinking that we're overcharging people, but for instance, one of our biggest inspections we do are resale inspections, wholesales, right? So those used to be $35, we raised them to $15 increase. The majority of towns were already at that. So we went up to the maximum level, that's where we are. So that's that's where that 31% increase is that you see. Non-traditional funding, this is something we talk about on a regular basis. We try our best to find ways to fund things before we come to you and before we come to the citizens. Here's a couple examples. Well, in the last year, these are some of the grants we've gotten used, 5,000 from emergency management grant, 9,000 for equipment grant. We use that for firefighter gear, because you'll see, we're not increasing the cost or the request, the ask for firefighter gear, even though the cost is going up astronomically. We're trying to supplement it in other ways. $8,000 SAFE grant, public education. That's what we use to go into the schools to teach. That's what we use when we go to the senior center to teach. 12-lead cardiac monitors. That was one of the items that was up for capital this year. We found alternative funding. We've actually used over $100,000 for EKG 12-lead machines that we haven't come to the town for. Medicare CPE. This is basically, it takes a couple weeks, but my executive assistant works on it. And she goes back, it's a chance to look back at Medicare and find out if we can get any money back for things that we missed. Or things that, they allow all towns to do it. It's not a ton, but again, it's something that brings a little bit more money back to the town. 911, the Rock is a big benefit to us. We use them in any way possible to get funding. In the last year, they've given us a host of things, from radios to iPads, which we use in the trucks for heads-up displays. So over $35,000. We provide free community CPR training. We get that through the opioid funding. We just locked in a deal with the county treasurer for $500,000 for a county radio system. It's a mutual aid system. Now, we're a portion of that, but that portion we would have had to pay on our own. So that 500 is spread out through the county. And then just this weekend, we finished up 2 surplus auctions where we sold a almost 40-year-old brush breaker. And we made 37,000 something, 30,050 off of that. And then a couple other small things. So we did some research, found a new auction site that has some great traction. And so we used that to try to sell that old brush breaker. We're trying to find ways to generate some more money. Because everything, as you know, everyone's asking for more money. And anything we can do to help that, we are. Look at this number. 4.9% of our entire budget funds a full-time, 24/7, 365 fire and EMS operation. 4.9%. That $4.5 million that we're requesting, that's to run an operation 24/7, 2 stations. It's not 8 hours a day, it's not Monday through Friday, 24/7. The fire department budget, you'll see in the numbers, it will rise by 2.42%. What's that increase? The majority of it's tied to contractual obligations, no different than what the police have, right? Very little of that has to do with expenses. It's no different than probably any of the other unions. We have contractual obligations, we have longevity, we have steps, we have vacation, all those things that our employees are they get through their collective bargaining. So here, I'm gonna go over my FY 27 5B requests. I'm requesting, last year I requested 4 firefighters. This year I've dropped it to 2. What that will do is that will give me a 7th firefighter on 2 of my shifts. It will still leave me with 2 at 6. If this was asked for what you really need, I tell you I need 8. I should be at 8 a shift. I should have 4 at the Ashdod station. I should have 4 at this station. I should run an ambulance at Ashdod. I should run an ambulance here. 8 is where we need to be. Obviously, we're not gonna get there this year. Probably won't get there next year, but we have to start talking about long-term where this town wants to be. You do a staffing study, they're gonna tell you need more than 8 per shift. Like I said, I'm asking for 2 firefighters and I'll go over that. I think a baby step approach to this, if the town's willing to do it, where we could add firefighters each year, that would be my goal. This part of town where Ashdod is growing significantly. If anyone lives up there, if anyone has been there, if you've seen all the houses that they're putting in there. If you look at the data up there, there's almost 1,800 properties up in the Ashdod section. I showed this last year. We responded to 3,011 calls. Do you know how many calls the public expected perfection on? Every single one. They don't want to hear that the ambulance is at the nursing home, the ambulance is over at school, the ambulance is at the ball field when they call. They want everybody to show up. They want everybody to show up there quick. I've taken in the last few months complaints from residents. Why did it take 14 minutes for an ambulance? We were 3 calls deep. I had nobody available. We were getting mutual aid. Unfortunately, that's the reality we are living in right now. This town, you've probably heard it, maybe Joanne's talked about it. If you look at the population, the over 65 population is increasing. That population calls us. The population needs us. And they're using us on a regular basis. They're using those ambulances, those 3 ambulances we have. Before I get into capital, would anybody have any questions about this part?
Yeah, I do.
Oh, almost. I'm gonna grab my drink.
Just so I
What's in there?
understand, last year's budget, you said you asked for 4.
Yes,
That was in the override budget, correct?
yes,
And it failed.
yes.
And then we had the special and you got 2, correct?
We kept 2, yes.
And then this year you're asking for 2, so that's the 4 that was originally in that
No,
old
no, the 2 just,
override budget.
we lost 2.
How'd you lose it?
We lost 2 to retirements. We had 2,
Oh, so you have vacancies.
we had 2 vacancies in March, so we dropped to 5 on
So
2
you
shifts.
just replaced people.
I just replaced you, we didn't add.
So you're still looking for those 2 people that you got approved in the special.
No,
No, I got those. Those 2 replaced 2 people who had
he was
left.
gonna go down to.
I was down to.
Right. I get that.
On a 12, on a year-over-year basis, it's net flat.
They just had.
How about this? How about this?
Yeah.
In March, I lost 2 positions because they retired. I was at 28 people,
You went to 26.
went to 26.
Right.
So all the way through July, I stayed to 26. So we were running 2 shifts, which is fine. Come July, I got my budget replenished. And those 2 positions restored, I hired 2 people. I'm back to 28.
Okay.
So
So he
You
wanted
wanted
to
to-
go to 32, but he's only gonna,
More of a
he's
rip,
only
that
asking
was a-
you to go to 30.
reduction in force, yeah.
Yeah,
Yep.
yeah, versus
No, am I just saying
a,
something? Am I right? You
I didn't.
had 28,
Yes,
you're asking for 2 to go to 30,
yes.
We want 32.
and you, but you, the
The
last
request
year,
last
the
year was
override
32.
budget was
Yeah.
to go to 32.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay,
And
it is what it is.
I'm trying to make this more palatable. I don't know what's palatable, I have to be honest, but I can just tell you, take that number, 286 recalls. At what point are we burning people out? They're not always showing up. Because they just, it's constant. So 10 o'clock tonight, when the bell goes off and we're calling everybody back, I can tell you, the majority of times, I'm getting very few to come back.
Later, it's still you and me at 2
Yeah.
o'clock in the morning.
Yeah, right? I have to, I have to show up. But people have lives, people have family members that, you know, I have 5 people who are having babies, well, their wives are having babies, right? So they have a lot going on, so people are not always available to come back. This isn't the department it was 20 years ago where everybody lives in Duxbury. I have 2 people, if you have 3, 2 that live in Duxbury. So when we hit the bell and everybody comes back, we have people coming 20 minutes. You wanna wait 20 minutes? That's where we are, unfortunately. There's no other department that does what we do, calling people back. It's crazy. It's like I said, I don't have an overtime issue, I have a staffing issue. That number shouldn't be at 200.
Well, it's net 130 because you save on overtime, so.
You don't have to call them back.
I'm trying to give you the benefit of the doubt, like. You're asking for 2, which is 200, but you're saving 70 on the overtime because you're hiring 2, so you're not even. It's not even costing 2 full people because you get the benefit of the staff.
I thought you were taking the recalls. Yes, you are correct. Yeah, I didn't even get into the money there. But yes, yeah, so when I bring 2 people, if I hire 2 people, we're gonna drop our overtime over here.
Yes, if you go from 28 to 30.
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah. But here's, you're right. What I'm gonna tell you is where we should be, is we should have 8 people around the clock. Why I'm dropping overtime is because I have to, if I get those 2 extra people, is if somebody's off, we go back to 6 on shift. But we have to baby step this, right? I need to start somewhere, and I think this is a fair ask. I don't think it's exorbitant. And it will start to get us in the right direction to bring people in here, staff those ambulances so we can get out there and help people.
Next.
All right. All right, here's a big one. Here's your fire engine. These things have gone up. I could have bought one of these probably 4 years ago for $500,000. But they're over $1 million. This is a 35-year-old engine. If I order this today, delivery time, 4 years.
Are you hopeful that that will improve? You don't know.
I have 2 ambulances on order and they're at least 3 years.
So it's not a supply chain problem?
I don't know what it is. I don't know. They're. I don't even want to get into that. I don't know.
Across the board with any manufacturer.
It's-
Yeah.
It's everything. It's everything. Chassis.
It doesn't even talk about post-COVID. This is something that's sustained itself throughout.
Yeah, this isn't slowing down. So. Like I told you the age. NFPA recommends these stay in service at 15 years primary, then they put back line. They recommend they should be gone at 25 years. So this was due to be replaced 2 years ago. But why we delayed it was we tried for federal grants. I wanted to see if we come up with a way to fund this alternatively, but we haven't succeeded.
They're
So-
closed.
They are closed right now. Anyone who's got them, it's all shut down. I know it's a big ask. But here's the issue. I have 2 other engines, a 2016 and a 2018, that are just adding on the mileage. And we're gonna be at a point that if we don't get ahead of this, we're gonna be way behind trucks. And we can't do that. We have,
Is it replacing an engine, Rob? I'm sorry.
yes, this engine right here, that's the one, 1995. So, we haven't even started to spec this out. We get the money, we spec it out, we order. We could be upwards of 5 years to get this thing going.
So do we have to pay for it when you order it, or do you have to pay for it when you get it?
So I've been talking to Mary about this. There are some options, but the majority of it would be paid down the line.
Okay. I'm just thinking of money that we don't have money to pay for debt, so.
Right.
From an operational perspective, is this past an operational like useful life where it would make sense for the next 5 years to buy a 5-year-old used one for a third the price while you wait for the new one? Like how much is operating that a detriment to the service of the town?
No, if that was the case, I would come to you and ask, this will make it for the 5 years. We have 2 frontline engines that are getting beat on because they're used every single day. And this is more of a backline, but these trucks rotate. And they start to get
Service to the highest that time.
How much of that service? $8,000.
$8,000.
We just
For a
had that
very
service.
thorough service.
Can you even buy used ones?
Yeah.
On the website right now.
Ken?
You're also buying someone else's property.
No, I get it. I just didn't know like how, like 5 years is a long time to wait. You've already waited so long.
Yeah.
Like, is there an interim solution if you really needed one while you wait for the new one?
I think we've already talked to dealers. We have an idea what we want. We're very specific. It's no different than the police cruiser, right? They design a cruiser for Duxbury Police. We design an engine that we want for Duxbury Fire. Very specific on how we want it. And, unfortunately, that's where we are money wise, and it's gonna take us a little time. Can we make it? Yes. But we have a mechanic on staff that is constantly, because we get the repair orders. The second something's up, something comes, we get the text.
Is the federal grant, is that played out at this point?
We'll apply twice with no luck. The problem is, honestly, you're competing with some very poor communities around the United States. That have 40-year-old engines, that don't have full-time fire departments, that don't have departments.
Well, 5 years, you'll be 40 years old, so.
Yeah,
Yeah, there you go.
Keep the
I
hope
think-
alive, right?
you know, we've been very successful in the last probably 20 years. We've probably got $8 million in grants. We have written grants for vehicles. We have got them. I think at this point we've exhausted it, and I think now we gotta look at what's in hand.
So you need to kick off the process to put a down payment on something that's gonna come 5 years down the road.
Did you have a question, Fred?
No.
Oh, I'm sorry.
The chief, prior to moving that back line, we bought the 2016 and 18, moving that back line road. That's what's letting us get 35, potentially 40 years out of that truck.
Because you rotated through.
And part of the plan to the truck that will become the backup when the new one arrives, what we, is as soon as you do that, that buys time for that truck to get, I don't know, 40 years out of the next truck, but I mean, that's almost unheard of to get 40 years out of a fire truck.
You guys take good care of this.
Credit to the mechanics, credit to the chief, the prior chief.
They take good care of it. We take pride in our equipment. If you look at the age of some of these trucks and they might look good, they're rotting out from the underside. You see where we have to drive these things in salt water. We're not supposed to. They make it clear, but you know what? When someone calls and we need to get through the water, sorry, That's
There you go.
cost of doing business. Any other questions on this? Good?
No.
Great. There's three other items that I put in there on our capital item. The first one is minitors. These are minitors right here. These are the little devices, radios that wake us up in the middle of the night when we're home sleeping. And this is what our firefighters carry for recalls. So it can be set up so it doesn't talk all night long. You don't have to listen to every call they go to, but when there's multiple calls, it will beep very loud. I know my wife really enjoys being woken up in the middle of the night by this, but this is critical for us. So that's a 19,000 to replace these for every firefighter that we have. The second one is a set of jaws of life. I printed out a justification, but I thought I had made 12 copies, so I'm gonna have to get a couple copies. All right. And this,
Pop it in the, ClearGov when you can get it.
I'll do it all in the clear up tomorrow.
Got it.
And that would be a set of jaws that would go on our engine and replace ones that, again, we're in the same boat as the police department, and I think we're all stuck. It doesn't matter what we buy for tech, they're only supported 5 years, only supported 7 years, that's an 8-year service life agreement. So that's where we're running into problems with our jaws, and we're looking to replace those. And, if it's not this year, then it's next year. We understand funding is tight. Will they last another year? They absolutely will. I'm just trying to get it on the docket so we can see it. And then finally, staffing study. It was something that was brought up several years ago by one of the members here. Why don't we do a staffing study? They're expensive. I can tell you what they're gonna say. They're not gonna say we need less. They're gonna say we need a lot more. But I figured I'd throw it out there if that's something.
That's the way probably will get approved.
And you're 100% right. You're 100% right. Because here's the thing, you've probably seen it on the news. What's NFPA, National Fire Protection Agency, what do they suggest? How many people in a fire engine? 4. How many do we have? 2. We never have 4. How many did they say should show up at a first alarm fire within 10 minutes? 15. We don't do that. How about a nursing home fire? I think it's 40. But again,
Same as the municipal fire now, isn't it? Since what happened in Fall River.
Fall River is bringing a lot of light to how little staff departments have. And unfortunately, it's not till something bad happens and 2 firefighters show up and it's like, all right, well, who's gonna do what? You just don't have enough hands. Fire doesn't discriminate. If it's in Boston, Brockton, or Duxbury, they burn the same way.
Chief,
Uh,
Chief,
Yes, sir.
how are you?
I'm great. How are you?
Good. The staffing study, is there any opportunities with any of with the union or any other groups for funding that?
I don't think that would be something that the union
Like
would
some
fund.
kind of grant or something like that to pay for it?
I haven't heard of any grants for that. I know that this is a very big hot topic with the state fire union.
Mhm.
But no, I haven't heard of any alternative funding for this, because I'd jump on it if I could find it.
Yeah, I noticed you're doing a great job.
Thank you. That's all I have. So, yeah, I went quick. Went quick for you. I gave all my time to the police. But
Tell Mike you said this.
are you?
No, I am not.
So if you've gone through the 5A and the 5B budget,
Yeah.
what I want you to see is we have had nominal increases. We've had some true ups because we've had a couple line items that have not been funded adequately in the past. And we've also decreased several of them. Some of them that we don't need, we put them into other buckets. If you were to look at the big increases, electricity,
Yeah.
Right? and I'll be honest, the electricity probably isn't gonna be enough, because if you haven't heard, we have no heat at the fire station.
Yeah.
And we're gonna use portable heat for the entire site. The other big increase is EMS supplies.
Oh, God, this is a terrible story.
Everybody is looking to get more money, right? Everyone's hurt, and I'm gonna give you the example, South Shore Hospital. We have forever, as long as I've been a EMT and paramedic. When we come to you, we have a nice sheet on the bed, we have blankets. In the winter, we put multiple blankets on you. Well, South Shore Hospital has stopped that practice. And now they're gonna give out disposable paper linen, but they're gonna charge us. They're gonna charge us $8 per.
For paper.
So now if you start to do the numbers, 1,600 transports, 500 transports down there, $8 a piece. This hasn't been budgeted, we start to run into problems. So the fire chiefs will be fighting this. Because first off, it's not good business, right? We show up at your house in the middle of winter and it's 5 degrees out, we're bundling you up like crazy. And those sheets all go to the South Shore or to the BI, wherever we go, it's 1 for 1. We're fighting. But the South Shore has said, if that's not the case, we're gonna charge you for other stuff, and they have a list of things, they wanna make their money, they're losing millions every month. And to be honest, it sounds like they're not going to make it past another year from what they're saying. So I have increased my EMS line item also, because I have to account for these charges, I don't know what they'll be, I have to be honest, what I put in there for an increase is not really. I think it's gonna be even more, but.
To my question earlier about ambulance revenue, shouldn't that just flow right back into what you're charging for ambulance revenues to the insurance companies or whoever, the cost of providing that service?
So it's something we've talked about, it's something that we'll talk to the hospitals about to find out if they're already billing for it, there's a question whether there could be. I don't wanna get too deep into this, but that they're already billing for it and charging us for it, yes. Medicare.
I said it.
Medicare for it. I think at this point, I think our ambulance rates are fair. I really,
Does fair mean cover, I mean, they might be fair, but like giving the inflation, the cost of everything
Mhm.
is enough.
Could I just interject here, having at one point been an auditor for several hospitals. The only way a fire department and municipality could handle this would be is that they adopted the same kind of accounting practices that hospitals do. So that they would be at a granular charge for each sheet. They would inventory those things. And they would then put them out with different rates. Medicare rates, Medicaid rates, Medicare Advantage rates, et cetera. But his work and the town's work with municipal work, in order to make those kind of cost recoveries you're talking about, which are great ideas, you would really need to make extensive changes in the way we go about business. Because what Chief Ridge is now talking about is doing a review as best, as you said, not the highest and not the lowest. But what's buried in there are all these unforeseen expenses that are popping up because the hospital systems themselves aren't generating revenue. So when they didn't charge for a sheet before, now they're charging. They have the capability to generate that because that's how their systems are set up. So that's just a sort of an accounting inside observation.
and I think one thing I'd say is if you looked at the increase that we had from last year to this, we had over 100,000 increase. That would more than cover these increases. We didn't add staff. Again, I go back to. I'll open my books, you can look at any of this stuff, there's no secrets, if you want to analyze it, you can look at the data that I used to. Basically come up with the rates before we present it to the fiscal advisory and the select board, so there's a whole process. But I'm open. If you wanna go up, and I've said before, like, last year, those are the charging orders, we want more, so, I thought that 100,000 was definitely more than covering any additional costs we might see.
Thank you.
That's fair.
Thank you.
All right.
Thank you,
all.
my dear. All right. Anybody have anything else they need to? We'll be here on Thursday. Linda, who's coming in on Thursday? I don't have the minutes.
Right here,
I don't have the agenda. open.
IT, municipal services, and property and liability insurance.
What's the first one?
IT,
I take, okay,
Mike Whitford,
yeah,
Jim Wozlowski, and Nancy O'Connor.
okay.
Those are the three.
Oh, I thought she changed her name. The Clipper had her name changed all last week. All right, perfect, and we will do that, and then we're getting there as far as other than the, schools are gonna do their preliminary budget, you guys know, is it November 5th? November 5th is when they're gonna be presenting the budget, the select board. Yeah, so November 5th, put on your dance cards as far as, if you wanna go, obviously, we could post it, but we're not gonna participate, just to hear the school's presentation on the 5th of November. Is it right? Yeah, okay. Great. I'm sorry, I missed
So
the
what
capital
is the one,
presentation.
what is the one at the, with the selectmen on Monday?
27th.
I thought that was
The
gonna be
27th. But that's not,
That's what's gonna be everything.
well, no, because the schools aren't presenting their budget to November. Am I speaking out of school?
No, November 25th is the combined meeting with school committee, you folks, and.
But their preliminary budget is getting presented to the committee for the first time on the 5th, right?
school committee, yeah.
Yeah, that's when the school, so it's not in October at all.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was a little confusing because
Yeah.
the select board is doing a meeting on
Hey, Mike.
October 27th. Yeah, Mike,
Mike.
you're here. Ah, the meeting you're having on the 27th,
Yes.
Is just-
We have a meeting on the 27th. It was something we requested. We wanted to provide our input of the budget thus far before Rainey kind of finalized the budget for December. So we're gonna get, as I understand it, pretty close to final budget.
but the schools aren't doing, they're not in November.
That is a
5th.
good question. I don't know that. That would be a Mary and Rainey question. But yeah, I can't imagine they'd be ready. They haven't voted on anything.
No, they're not going to. They're gonna do their preliminary budget. And
Right.
I believe I'm right. Everybody's nodding back here, November 5th, so which is after your meeting. And
Right.
there's 60% plus of the money, so.
So it's, we're supposed to get a package Wednesday or Friday.
Preliminary numbers and the ones that we've already done.
That's my best guess because that would make the most sense.
Yep, okay, cool.
But if something's different, maybe Rainey can let you folks know. You're all invited. I believe the schools are too. So
Yes, yeah.
so maybe they are presenting their preliminary budget as twice. I don't know.
No,
Well,
I,
it
Then nobody's presenting anything. I think Rainey's.
Sounds like the meeting on the 27th is a week too early.
Yeah,
Danielle said that they're invited but not presenting.
correct. Nobody's presenting. They're there for
Right.
questions.
Discuss budget beside the schools. School budget is the following
Yeah.
week, I believe. That's
Yeah,
what Danielle
great,
said. Yeah.
okay, good, thank you. I thought I had it in my head, but, okay, all right, beautiful. Thanks, Mike.
Have a great night, everyone. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you again for coming. Move to
Oh,
adjourn.
Thank you.
Second.
Second, all those in favor?
Aye.
Beautiful.